It's so pretty.
Is that what 64 gigs of RAM looks like?
It's the beast, yes. I don't want to do the tech, I just want to look at it. And I'm afraid if I do the tech, I won't be able to look at it. We are not sponsored by Kingston, but the beast is making me happy. I've been looking at this. We don't have a motherboard to put this stuff in. We've got an Asus workstation motherboard coming in soon. We're going to test out this 2400 megahertz RAM. Just put it over here because I don't, you know, I've been like taking this stuff home and holding it while I sleep at night. Maybe we'll do a RAM drive for no reason.
Yeah. So
because we can.
You lose it when you reboot, though.
Oh. I don't want to do it anymore. Let's talk about what's going on in the world. So the Navy has been developing these Dragonfly spy drone type robots. They look just like Dragonflies. Well, not really. I mean, if you look at them in the wild and you get close enough, you're like, hey, that's a spy drone. So, well, anyway, they've spent $1 million developing these things, and they need some more money. So what do? They create an Indiegogo, and you guys can get your own. You guys can get your own Dragonfly spy drone for like 120 bucks. Are we going to be ordering some of these Dragonfly spy drones?
We need at least 8.
Yeah, we need 8 of them. All over Richmond. And then we can know what everyone's doing. Guys, I know what you're thinking right now. Everyone is like, every single person is like, Dragonflies in the women's locker room. It's going to get swatted so fast, and you're going to be out $120. So get that thought out of your brain.
Yeah, I think these Dragonflies would actually have problems with things like wind.
So, Moot from 4chan. He laments the death of internet culture. This is an article on Forbes. I never thought I'd see the day where Moot was being interviewed by Forbes, but there he is. And he's a little bit upset. I'm going to paraphrase this and sum it up, and you guys can read the entire article if you like. But here's the TLDR version. He's upset because internet culture was this cool thing, and, you know, it was underground and whatnot. And then it got really big and started spilling off of the internet into regular culture on t-shirts and mugs and et cetera, et cetera. You get the point, music, whatever. And then pop culture, internet culture kind of collided, and then the pop culture started getting onto the internet. So it's like, hey, dude, you got your pop culture in my internet culture, and it's like not cool anymore, and internet culture is dead. What do you have to say about that, Wendell?
Oh, I don't think I agree. You have to look at the context of this, though. And the context of this is, if you look back at the history of the internet, there were people that were on America Online and that were on CompuServe, and that was, quote-unquote, the mainstream, and then everybody else was on the internet. And now that everyone's on the internet, the internet is the new AOL, at least from Moot's point of view.
Yeah, but I mean, the real deal here is, like, our show. Look what we're doing. We've got a community here of people who I'm going to guess that you guys are not too interested in pop culture. And this is, I feel like we have something going on here that's like internet culture. At least that's what I feel like. And there's corners of 4chan and there's corners of Reddit, even though they've kind of gone mainstream, that are still internet culture. The geeks will always be geeks, and they'll always have their own little corner, and they're going to be oblivious or just not even care about pop culture. And I think that's, I don't think anything's dead. I think things have just grown exponentially, and now the internet is huge. And of course, pop culture and internet culture are going to mix at one point, but that doesn't mean that one true form of either is totally dead.
Yeah, the reality is that the internet is an amalgamation of a whole bunch of different cultures. But historically, like the people on AOL that were on AOL, it really didn't matter. And so now it's like, oh, well, the people on the internet really don't matter. It's like, no, the internet is still the internet.
So Moot, I'm not going to be giving Moot any advice. He doesn't need any advice from the likes of me. But I am going to say, Moot, dude, if you like internet culture, I don't know, do something. You've got the money, you've got the power to do something that's just for the internet culture. And don't even talk about it on Forbes. Just make it, and the people that come will be the internet, culture type people. That's what I think would happen.
It strikes me as a very hipsterish thing to say, but perhaps that would get me in trouble.
Hipsterish? Moot, you internet culture hipster?
I want the internet to be an outcast crazy culture before it was an outcast crazy culture.
Yeah. We've got this internet thing, but you've probably never heard of it. Google is going to be doing the most amazing homepage ever for the end of the world. Oh yeah, I forgot. I keep forgetting that the world is ending. I mean, like, I'm just going on about my business as if it's not ending, but stupid me. But Google's doing like the best thing ever because, as Larry Page said, they want one last chance to show you something awesome and serve you a following cookie or whatever.
We should have done an end of the world special or something like that. It's like baking, like a live stream where we're like baking cookies or something.
And then die.
Somehow I think we're going to make it.
That's crazy talk.
I'm pretty sure we're going to make it.
No, I've talked to a bunch of astrologers and met this guy downtown that was wearing like 9 neon signs on his body and handing out tracts, and I don't know, he seemed pretty legit.
The problem here is that this is the Mayans' version of the Y2K bug, except that nothing's actually using their date system, so it doesn't matter.
The Mayan Y2K bug, that's what it's going to be from now on.
I mean, their date system doesn't count past December 21st.
We need t-shirts that say, I survived the Mayan Y2K.
Yeah.
All right, so this is terrifying news. Facebook is going to be launching autoplay video ads in your newsfeed coming soon. So you'll open up your page, and then a video on your news page will automatically play, and they're not going to be labeled as ads anymore. Like a lot of stuff now is labeled as an advertisement. They're going to be labeled as featured content. Oh, great, featured content. So you're going to get it on your desktop, and you're also going to get it on your phone. So can you imagine how, I mean, the Facebook app is already the slowest thing on the face of the earth. When you open up the Facebook app, it just loads and loads and loads for 4 hours. Imagine how much longer it's going to take to load if it has to load a 15-second ad.
One of my favorite plugins for Facebook is called FB Purity, which is like Fluffy Bunny Purity or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's a browser plugin that'll rewrite Facebook to not be stupid. And Facebook is like, no, you're not allowed to do that anymore. So Facebook Legal shut the guy down hard.
Yeah, like they deleted his Facebook account. His website's getting in trouble. I mean,
I don't believe it's a coincidence that they shut him down right before doing this ad thing.
And what he was doing was technically legal because it was all browser-based, and he wasn't actually using the Facebook API at all.
It's really just a sophisticated Grease Monkey script, and if that's illegal, my God.
Yeah. Well, if you guys are using Android, you guys can check out something called Fastbook. It's almost the exact same app as the Facebook app, except it runs in HTML5 and it's way faster. So, little tip for you guys that came out this week. I mean, I could really care less about Facebook, but if you like Facebook and use it, use Fastbook instead. Just delete the Facebook app.
The delicious irony is that the Facebook app for Android, which is now merely terrible, was once horrible, and they blamed the horribleness on that it was HTML5. And so Fastbook was like, no, you just didn't know what you were doing.
They actually told the guys from Fastbook that HTML5 is not ready, and they're like, well, it works, so shut up. Yep.
Pretty
That's the way it works. More Facebook news. German courts have ordered Facebook to get rid of the whole real name policy because that breaks the European, I guess, the privacy laws over there. People are allowed to be private and anonymous on the internet if they want to, but Facebook won't allow it. So Facebook could face some fines, and the German courts have ordered them to allow pseudonyms. So
I don't see a problem with that, and I can't believe that they were that draconian about it.
Yeah,
that shows you how much your real identity is worth to Facebook. If you don't know what they're selling, you're the product.
They're selling you guys, you bunch of, wow. I'm like the dude in the concert right now, like, Facebook is a pimp and I'm the whore. Get that strudel stirred in your noodle. Do it. 84% of Kickstarter's top projects have shipped late. Now, that's not too big of a deal. They did ship, but 84% shipped late of their top 50 products. So I kind of anticipated this kind of thing was going to happen, but a lot of people are upset. I mean, what did you think was going to happen? Products get delayed. Some of them have been delayed by 2 and 3 months, and some of the products never got finished at all.
Sometimes the delays are very reasonable. Sometimes the people that got the money have moved to Tijuana.
That's what bothers me. I mean, there's not a huge percentage, but we knew this was going to happen. That new thing, what was it called? Something Street that we were talking about last week. I can't even remember. Charlie Street or...
Charlie Street?
Something like that.
Baker Street? 221B Baker Street?
Yeah, that's the website, for sure. We talked about this last week, but their idea of, it's kind of almost like escrow, where, the people who get funded get the stuff in small payments. That's a much better idea.
Yes, it is.
And then you can buy insurance as well. Much better idea. So, Kickstarter, what's taking you guys so long to move to a model like that? That would fix all the problems. Let's laugh at Apple's expense, shall we? We always like to do that, don't we?
Apple is crazy.
Apple, I wish you would stop making me laugh at your own expense. So this is just kind of funny. It's a personal tale. Someone had an iMac, and they lived in the Midwest in Ohio, as a matter of fact, which is not too far away from here. And the screen kept going out. And so finally, after getting it replaced a couple times, Apple's like, listen, we're not going to replace this anymore because you live in an area where the humidity is just too damn high for the iMac screen. And so he moved to Chicago, and his screen broke again, and this was the last time, right? So he called up Apple, and he's like, hey, screen broke again. And they're like, well, that area is too humid too. So apparently, if you live in the Midwest, Apple is not going to take care of you because you live in an area in which the humidity is too high for their products.
Maybe they should stop trying to shoehorn these LCDs into an aluminum can.
I mean, that's how can they do that? It's their warranty. There was the pinch to what was it, Wendell? The
pinch to zoom.
Pinch to zoom.
They re-examined the patent. They've been re-examining some of these landmark patents, but they weren't moving fast enough for the court case. And so they had already invalidated the elastic, like having the screen behave like a rubber band.
Yeah, I remember Apple was so excited about inventing that nonsense. Like, they came up with like a new God particle.
That was part of the Samsung patent suit, and it was invalidated. Well, here just now, just literally, 20 minutes ago or whatever, the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office invalidated another patent, which was the pinch to zoom.
Right.
And that was pivotal in the Samsung Apple lawsuit.
Well, it's absolutely asinine in the first place that they're able to use this as a basis to sue another company. It stifles innovation, and we've gone over this a gazillion times, but it's really, really, really awesome that these patents are becoming invalid after further examination. And I hope this trend continues. So this 36-year-old dude named Christopher Cheney, he's a Florida resident, and he was hacking all these email accounts, right? And that pisses people off. Like, big time. He was getting into their accounts, and what was he doing? I mean, did he even have...
Yeah, he was hacking lots of people's emails, but it was also famous people. So, like, Scarlett Johansson had some naked pictures or something, and he leaked them to the internet.
Yeah, she's become the poster child, if you will, for this whole entire thing. But he pleaded guilty, right? And the prosecution asked for 6 years, and the judge was like, no, give him 10 years. So the dude's getting 10 years for hacking into some email accounts. Now, of course that's bad. He should be in trouble. But I just want to put this into context. The government reads everything. They've got rooms in the data centers that read all of your correspondences. But if a private citizen hacks into a few celebrities' email accounts, 10 years in jail.
I think a murder, like the going rate for a murder is what, like 2-3 years?
Yeah, I mean, man, that's all?
I don't know.
There's a lot of really annoying people out there.
I think, maybe that's like murder in the third degree, but like murder in the first degree is probably more severe.
Like death by tickle.
Yeah.
If that's third degree.
Death by I wasn't paying attention and ran over you in the crosswalk.
Death by tickle, second degree. Have you seen the time?
Rant 30. Rant 30.
It is Rant 30. Today we're going to talk about Hollywood, and we're going to talk about the entire copyright situation, and we are going to commend an Australian ISP. They're a little ISP. Now here's what happened. Let me give you the backstory. Hollywood decided to attack an ISP that wasn't playing nice. And when I say not playing nice, they weren't being cops for Hollywood. They were just like, no, that is not our job. We are not going to be police officers for you guys. We are going to run a service, and that's all we're going to do. And you guys can go after people if you want to, but we're not going to do it for you. The name of the company is iNet. iNet.
iNet. I don't know.
iNet.
I don't know how the Aussies pronounce it.
iNet.
iNet.
Yeah, they're a pirate company, obviously. So anyways, they actually had a meeting recently with Hollywood, and Hollywood is not willing to change their practices. And that's the main reason that this company will not work with Hollywood. And Hollywood took them to court, and iNet won big. So that is key. The courts said that iNet did not have to police. That's not what their job was. That's not what they're supposed to be doing. And iNet and a lot of other companies just really want Hollywood to, I guess, reform the way they do business.
Well,
let me just go ahead.
Hollywood has been spazzing out really bad the last couple of months too. Google started changing their DMCA policy. They're actually publishing some of the DMCA notices they get.
Yeah.
And it's gone from like 200,000 Hollywood takedown requests per month to like 2.5 million or something like that.
Well, this is also going to be really nice since Google is going to be publishing this.
Well,
so now we can go on there and just see how asinine it really is.
Yeah, a lot of the takedown requests were like for their IMDb page, and like CBS requested that they take down like the CBS streaming television and Hulu and stuff like that. And Google's like, you guys have lost your mind. Whatever organization is sending these takedown requests is totally off their marbles at this point. Like, they're just going to Google and searching for like the Notebook, and then anything that returns the Notebook is
takedown notice.
Yeah, and it's like, but this is a Walmart ad for notebooks.
They're using a notebook picture to... No. So yeah, it's way out of hand. And then the other issue, of course, is piracy. So they got both of these things that they're fighting for. But specifically in this case, iNet, they sat down with Hollywood and they got up and walked out of the meeting, which I think is awesome. You guys are badass. Even though you guys are a small company, that is really badass in my opinion. And they said that the problem was the limited access that people have to the content. And they said if Hollywood wants to fix this, all they have to do is give people access. That's why people download stuff, because they don't have access to it, not because they're thieves. So that's exactly what they're saying. That's what we've been saying forever. And Hollywood needs to either fly Kim.com over so we can show them how to do business, or start listening to these companies. And we need more ISPs like iNet to stand up and do the same thing. So if you run an ISP and you've got 6 people in your service or whatever, your little company, do this. Stand up for yourself. Don't let Hollywood push you around. It's not your job to police this, and go to court and you'll win. Hopefully. Hopefully. They won in Australia. I don't know. All right, so we've been talking a lot about surveillance. And, you know, some of the people in the Senate are good guys, which is interesting. And they are looking at everything that's going on, because FISA is up for renewal and people are trying to sneak FISA through. They're like, just shut up and renew FISA.
FISA is that act that allows the government to, without a warrant, spy on the communications of American citizens if, however tangentially, it is connected to a foreign transaction. And the Internet, being the global village that it is, in a wide interpretation of that, pretty much anything on the Internet you do could be construed as, oh, well, you know, you're having contact with something that's foreign.
We talked about Jeff Merkley before. He's concerned about our privacy, which is pretty interesting. And I know this may sound a little out there, but this is from a senator, so I'm just going to read what he said about this. He said, citizens generally assume our government is not spying on them. If they had any inkling of how this system really works, and the details of which I cannot discuss, they would be profoundly appalled. So this is coming from someone in the Senate who has access to information. I think this is very interesting. I think you guys should follow Jeff Merkley. Also, some of the guys who are involved in this, who are trying to, you know, reform these things and get FISA thrown out. Senator Rand Paul from here in Kentucky. We got Mike Lee from Utah, and Ron Wyden. Watch those guys. Those guys are cool. Thank you very much for fighting the good fight, and we'll keep reporting on that. I'll just leave these articles. There's several articles about all this stuff. I don't want to get too into it, guys, but
this one's the EFF has been trying to get more information about this warrantless surveillance from the NSA side of things since '08, and it finally got their day in court. And so this was their literally their first day in court since '08, 5 years later almost.
But things are finally starting to move in the right direction.
Yeah, well, it was 1.5 hours of video. You can watch it.
Yeah, it's over.
It's as dry as a cracker, but it's really interesting, some of the arguments that the government makes. And the judge is like, well, you're saying that there's not really a way for anybody to actually look at this at all. And the guy's like, no, that's not what I'm saying at all. And it's turned into the Wookiee defense.
Yeah, so there's the video. And like you said, it's really dry, but it's kind of interesting to hear the argument. And if you're just curious about how the NSA's domestic spying program works, there's a link here for you. I'm not going to get into it right now. But you guys can take a look at this. It's good to know. It's just good to know this stuff. Speaking of the EFF, that's the Electronic Frontier Foundation. They fight for our rights on the Internet. They're a bunch of cool people, and it's a non-profit organization that they've got a lot of lawyers on staff.
They're nerds and lawyers.
Exactly, which is really cool. So Mark Cuban and Notch, Marcus Peterson, the Minecraft creator, have decided to give $250,000 each to the EFF. That's going to allow them to hire a new lawyer. Now, the purpose of this money from Notch and from Mark Cuban is to help reform the patent system in this country, because the patent system is backwards. It sort of it actually discourages innovation, and that's not what they want. They want, especially software patents, to be more open and less ridiculous, so that, you know, someone can make one thing and someone can make an improvement on that same idea and not be infringing. That's the way the entire world has worked since the beginning of time. Can you imagine if Henry Ford had a patent on the original car and then no one else can make a car and there'd be only Fords on the road? That's sort of the way that a lot of the software, you know, makers want it to be. And also it's encouraging the software patent trolls. So we could be seeing some things move toward reform with patents and copyrights this year, and that's a very big thing, or this coming year in 2013. That makes me very happy. It'd be a great Christmas present, a great Hanukkah present, a great Kwanzaa present. What am I leaving out? Yule? Solstice, the Great Hunt.
Kwanzaa.
Guys, why do we all have to have? I thought I said Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa bot.
Kwanzaa bot, yeah. Hanukkah. Let's all just have our holiday on the same day. How about that? And we'll pretend that it's our holiday and not anybody else's.
Winter solstice.
Solstice that's the real deal. So come on over. We'll celebrate solstice. I have no idea how we got off on that from patents and stuff. Yeah. All right, moving along here. Let's get something more fun. Tired of this is fun.
Okay, that's a bit of a rant. We should bandy about the Surface that we have.
Oh, the poor Surface. It's funny that it's called the Surface, but it's sinking.
Okay, this article is very poorly written, but
yeah, it's written by a 12-year-old on Ritalin.
We only mention it because way back a long time ago, we said, well, what's going to happen is Microsoft's going to come out with a Surface. It's going to piss off the OEMs, and the OEMs are going to go to Google. And so what's happening? Microsoft came out with a Surface. It failed. See, Microsoft's assumption was that the Surface would be so spectacularly successful that the OEMs would have no choice but to cooperate. What has actually happened is that the Surface really hasn't met expectations and is not flying off the shelves and is not the hot item this Christmas.
But you also mentioned the chicken and the egg problem. They release a new platform, and instead of taking advantage of all the programs that we normally had, they're like, no, we want apps. Apps only, no exe files on our tablets. Of course, you can have them on your desktop or on the x86 version of Windows 8, but they have to build an entirely new app store. And if people are not making apps for it, then no one's going to buy it. But if no one's going to buy it, nobody's going to make apps for it.
It's really interesting because Steve Jobs had the same problem with the MacBook Air. Not the universe problem, but it was a problem of engineering.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, we're going to cram all this stuff into the MacBook Air, which is, a marvel of engineering to cram all that stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
And Apple relied on their OEM partners to be able to do that. But Microsoft didn't do that with the Surface. If they had crammed a full PC with a 10-hour battery life into the Surface, they really would have a winning product.
And allow you to, well, I mean, they do have the x86 version.
But the battery life's only about 4 hours, and it's as thick as a brick.
So it's pointless.
Yeah.
May as well just get a laptop.
Pretty much.
Well, that's sad. Let's take a look back in time, guys. This is fun. This is a Wendell find here. Just take a look at this article. It was of 88.
Is this the Christmas of the computer?
Yep. This is what there's a little prediction here of the future, and I think it's hilarious. One day, people will be able to send mail by satellite right from their own homes. Look at these guys. That's exactly what we look like today.
This is only from like 1983, which is really not that long ago.
Even the dog has turquoise eyes. There's like an augmented dog in that car, or whatever that thing is. It's a hovering ball. Looks like one of the balls that comes out of the machine. You put the change in, and then the ball comes out.
It's really kind of horrifying. Is the dog wearing a driving costume?
I don't think so. I think he should have turquoise eyes. Yep. Anyway, you guys can look at that art, or look at this little thing. It's an old book. You can flip through it. Yes. Oh God. Yes. I want to buy this software. So
wait, wasn't that advertising that it came with that free game?
Mm-hmm. Let me go back to it.
That was when computer games came with all this artwork, but none of the artwork was actually in the game.
Why is it still flipping pages? What did I do? I put it on slideshow or something? Oh, I did put it on slideshow. That's nonsense. Wow, 72K color. That's great for under $200. In fact, I think I'm going to order one of these. Can I do that real quick? Just put pause. I'm going to order one of these.
You might be able to find one on eBay.
Science time. How about it? There's another Earth, just 12 light years away. If we start walking now, it'll be there in about 700.
Well, we found 5 planets, and we think one of them's in the habitable zone. And if it's in the habitable zone,
maybe more even, because they're all closer to that, I guess, sun or whatever. What's the name of the star? It's Tau Ceti.
Yeah.
Now, Tau Ceti is very similar to our own sun. It's warm. Well, not as warm as our sun, but it's warm color. It's like a yellow sun. It's not. Doesn't burn cold like some of the other ones, but it's not as hot as our sun. But there are 5 planets that are closer than Mars is to our sun. So one of those planets, one of those 5, maybe 1 or 2 of them, could potentially, like you said, be in the habitable zone.
We need to probe. To put it in perspective, I think the Voyager space probe, which has been traveling through space for like 37 years, has traveled 0.17 light years. And so this is like 18 light years? 12 light years. So, yeah, 37 years in space, Voyager space probe, 0.17 light years.
Well, we've got to figure out wormholes, or we've got to figure out faster than light travel and all that kind of stuff, which seems pretty easy, I mean, when you think about it.
If we could stop arguing about oil, it probably would be trivial.
If we could give NASA more than enough to buy coffee. Shut those scientists up. Give them some more money. What do they need? Shoes and coffee? Give them shoes and coffee. Tell them to shut up. We got to blow stuff up.
What NASA hasn't learned is they need to present all their pitches as the weaponized version of whatever it is they need to build.
That's what I see. I see NASA in a meeting, and they're all like, "Guys, we're going to build this thing, and it's got this jet propulsion. You got to quantum entanglement. It's going to make the rocket ship and everyone, and then the generals and everything are like."
Okay.
Then one of the guys is like, "And you can blow up a continent with it." What? Huh? Yeah. Oh, blow up a continent? Great.
All right, you people from NASA that are in the audience, I'm going to give you a freebie. If you want to invent faster than light travel with a a cushy Department of Defense contract, what you do is you say that the faster than light vehicle can be used for killing the entire planet. It's called a relativistic kill vehicle. So you get something and you get it going really, really, really fast, and it doesn't matter that it's not very massive, because near the speed of light it will be very massive, and it will totally destroy the world.
So then you'll have your RKV, guys. Drive around. And, what are you getting? I'm getting an RKV for Christmas.
That is how NASA can get the money to build a faster than light vehicle. The first application of it is making a giant lead bullet travel at like 0.999 C.
Awesome. This guy has funding, and he's going to build a tornado power generator. He's going to create... first thing he's going to do, he's going to create a tornado, right? And then, after he creates the tornado, he's going to put turbines in there and collect the power from it. So let's talk about how this works. The guy's name is Louis MacLeod. The PayPal co-founder gave this guy $300,000, and here's his idea. He's like, we can take all this hot air that's coming off of regular, like, factories or whatever, and we can throw the hot air into this cylinder, and then, as the hot air rises, we can push it around, and it's going to start creating a vortex, and then we've got a tornado, a man-made tornado. Then we put turbines in there and collect the power that comes off of that tornado. So the guy from PayPal's like, huh? You're making a tornado? I'll throw $300,000 at that. That's kind of interesting. It'll be fun to see what happens with that, especially when the tornadoes get loose.
Is this the part where we make a joke that they can go to Washington and get all the hot air they need? And
just put it right outside of Congress. Yeah. Have a fan blowing all the hot air outside of Congress and making tornadoes.
It could work.
Yeah, and then you could power Washington, D.C. with all that extra hot air.
Washington, D.C. runs on politicians, literally.
Yeah. Politicians are going to be lonely, though, because they're used to all that hot air going up their ass. Blow it up. I'm just going to blow some steam up here. Never mind.
It's not like a dump truck. It's a series of tubes.
Video games. Let's talk about them. So War Z came out. Remember War Z? We talked about War Z because we talked about DayZ. That's the only reason we even talked about War Z. War Z came to Steam, and Hammerpoint released a product that was not finished on Steam. And the Steam guys were really, really being cool about this. They yanked War Z from Steam because they realized that a lot of the bullet points here on the web, on Steam, that I guess Hammerpoint put up there, things like it's got a huge persistent world they said it was between 100 and 400 square kilometers. Funny part is it's one map and it's 72 square kilometers.
Some of the guys pre-ordered this, and they were so upset because when they pre-ordered it, it was like, here's all the stuff that we're going to have in the first release, and it's going to be on this day. And the first release day came and went, and it was none of those things.
Well, like every bullet point here is like not right. Like they say you can play with your friends online, or you can create a private server. You can't create a private server. That's not part of the game. They also said that there's no classes, no levels, no caps. And create your own campaign, get experience points, and spend it to learn dozens of available skills, but there's no skill system in the game. They also say 2 modes of play, normal and hardcore. There's no hardcore mode. So Steam yanked it off, and then they apologized, and there's a form on here. If you guys purchased War Z, you can get your money back.
Yeah, this is awesome because some of the guys, one of the guys in the office, he got 2 copies, and they gave him a refund for 1 copy, but they wouldn't give him a refund for the other copy, and we were still trying to figure that out.
Why did he get 2 copies? Like one is a gift to put in his inventory?
Yep.
Well, Doug Lombardi from Valve, he's one of the big guys. He said that they apologized, and they're going to be giving some refunds, so that's pretty cool, and
Valve is awesome.
Yeah, they really are. They take care of their customers, and that's why all their customers stick around.
Yeah. And that's why they don't really have a piracy problem with their products either. Because Gabe says, like, the whole Hollywood thing ties in with this really well.
It does.
Because Gabe, that runs Valve, says that piracy is almost always a distribution problem, not a content problem.
I mean, their stuff is a good price. And a lot of people, they're like, hey, I can go download this and crack it. But they're like, it's $6 on Steam. I'll just buy it on Steam instead of pirating it.
Yep.
It makes total sense. Speaking of good deals on games, Good Old Games has got some amazing sales going on. These sales are not going to last much longer, maybe a few hours. But you guys should really check them out. Like, really, really check them out. The entire holiday season here, there's a lot of really good games on there. I picked up the entire Might and Magic series and the entire Ultima series. They were like pennies on the dollar, so that's pretty cool. And also, we all know THQ's been having some trouble, but Jason Rubin, who is the CEO, said that all of their major releases are still confirmed and still on schedule. So just mention that and moving right along. More gaming news. The Humble Bundle 7 is out, and I'm going to recommend that you guys check this out. If you like RPG games, you should check out Legend of Grimrock. It's really cool that game has been included because it was like a $15, $20 game on Steam.
Breaking news. Steam for Linux is now open beta.
Open beta.
Open beta.
Max. It's going right on that laptop. That is awesome. Steam for Linux is an open beta. Download it. If you got Linux, if you got Ubuntu, it's only for Ubuntu, right? It's a DEB file.
Well, it'll probably work under Debian. There's probably instructions to do that, and I think there were instructions for extracting it and getting it to run on CentOS and Linux Mint.
Max has been playing with this.
It works on Linux Mint without a problem.
So it works on Linux Mint just fine. We've got Linux Mint 14.
Yes.
Works fine on Linux Mint. Zorin, you're okay to go on Zorin. And Ubuntu, of course.
I'm going to go install it on the Zenberg.
Anyway, back to the Humble Bundle 7. So Legend of Grimrock, it harkens back to the days of old when you had games like Dungeon Master. And what else am I thinking of? Stone Keep. Games like that. So if you like that, check that out. There's also some adventure games in there. The Binding of Isaac is kind of like a really gross version of like Zelda 1. Have you played Binding of Isaac?
I have not.
It's well done, but it's like a random dungeon generator type thing, and you run around and you throw like snot at people instead of like shooting your Master Sword beam or whatever.
I want NetHack Plus.
Indie Game the Movie's a part of this, which was really interesting. I saw that up in New York in one of those like little indie theaters or whatever, and then it came to Steam. I was like, oh, I could have just watched this at home and not have to deal with that funny smell, but it was cool. So there's some interesting stuff there you guys can check out. I didn't really want to get into this too much, but I'll let you guys read this article. A new study has come out that shows that violence in the real world, like all these shootings that happened, like the one in Connecticut I'm referencing, those are not tied to games at all. And it's kind of ridiculous because you see like Mass Effect's Facebook page. People just flooded Mass Effect's Facebook page with tons of hate and tons of ignorance. And I guess the guy that did the shooting had Mass Effect or something like that. I don't know. But people look for something to blame. I mean, my Facebook wall has been filled with people accusing, different things. Like people are accusing God or lack of God. Both sides. Like, oh, this and that. This guy must have been a zealot, or this guy must have, there's no prayer in schools. This is what happens. Everyone wants something to blame. And they never want to take blame themselves, or they never want to just blame the person. It's a crazy person. I don't know. I'm not going to get into this too much. You guys can argue about it, but I don't think we should.
All of it smacks of manufactured outrage.
Yeah.
It's like, is there something to blame? The poor mental health care system in America?
People are people, whether they're in Connecticut or Syria. Let's all hug. That's the last article, and that was a bit deep. Yeah. Oh, since the end of the world is happening, for the next day or so, Zweihander is going to be on sale for $3.33. So for only $3.33, that's enough for me to buy a cup of coffee. You can get Zweihander. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. If enough of you guys pick up Zweihander at $3.33, to put it back on the main page, like under the bestseller list for, I guess that was in Electronica's, like the parent category of, 8-bit stuff. But if you guys get it back to the first page of the bestseller list, I'll use all that money to buy coffee, and I'll have like 9 coffees before the next tech. And then I will do it. But it has to get to the front page.
You're going to be completely wired.
Or get a headache and explode. It'll be funny, though.
We'll know you're wired because we'll have like Cat 5 cable coming out of your ears.
So that's the goal. Check it out. Yeah. We've also got t-shirts and some other stuff, and thank you guys for donating. We're going to extend the donation period. You guys are really helping the website a lot. We're growing. We've got a new gaming channel coming soon, and we still have the contest going on. There's a link down here. After this week, we are going to choose a winner from that and send them a mouse and a headset and say thank you guys. But we're still looking for a name for our gaming channel. We've got a lot of names, too, that we're throwing around here, so...
We haven't seen anything super amazing yet.
Yeah, there's some good ideas, and they're giving us good ideas, and if we take one of your good ideas and expand upon it, we're going to give you the prize. And even if we don't use your idea, we're still going to pick one that we think is the best and give away a prize. We like giving stuff away around here. So that's what we're going to do.
Yay, free stuff.
Free stuff is awesome. If you guys have any questions or anything, you can always email me, inbox@techsyndicate.com. Got the inbox coming soon, so send inbox questions about anything. It can be about hardware. It can be about your pets.
It seems like there's a lot more comedy gold in the whole end of the world thing, but... I'm struggling to see how we could use that.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure the world will end again soon. It always does.
Hey, wait, wasn't the what happened to the guy last year where it was like they were going to have the rapture and then the guy miscalculated and then...
Oh, he's predicted the end of the world like 3 times, and this time his followers were absolutely sure that it was this time. And there was a really terrible story because I was living in New York at the time about a guy who was a subway worker, and he'd worked there and he'd saved like $190,000 being a meager subway worker and living off of that and investing it well. So he had $190,000. He spent all of his money putting up giant billboards around town talking about the end of the world.
Ooh, that's sad.
Not that sad, is it? I thought it was kind of funny.
It's kind of depressing.
He doesn't deserve his money. I'm sorry. All right, that's the entire episode for today. I'll see you guys next time. Subscribe. The button's down there.
Apparently.
Yeah, apparently. They're going to move it. Every time I do this, they're like, it's over here. Wait, no, it's over there. Oh, that. So the button, find the subscribe button, or else.
Maybe they'll let us put some JavaScript on the page that lets us move it around the thing, and it's a game where you've got to like chase the button down.
Just don't do that on Facebook. You'll get your account deleted.
Yeah, that's like, this is not allowed.
No, not allowed. All right, I'll see you guys next week.